Let's get ready to get going here in the Dome. Winner earns a share of the ACC regular season title. Wambach gets the better of Mullen to start this game. We'll see Carolina on offense.
Yeah, this matchup's monster between Mullen and Wambach. Wambach, an upstate boy from Rochester, New York. Both sophomores. They'll be battling for the next couple of years in the ACC.
Wertheim, this first midfield unit, the transfer from Cornell. And Suchek won, along with Harshbarger, a couple of dynamic freshmen at midfield for North Carolina. Here's Wertheim. Inside, Suchek is able to get the pass off. Nothing doing, though, as Matten was stoned. That's a good look at Owen Duffy, 8 in blue. We'll have to keep an eye on how he is. He's just been banged up lately. Harshbarger on the run, bouncer. Save made by McCool. First look at Jimmy McCool, who's had an outstanding season in net for Syracuse.
The big lefty from Boston. Father was a hockey player for BC back in the day. Don't be fooled here, Cotter.
I'm not.
Got some hidden ball trick action.
I stared it down. Roa and Leo, we talked to this young man, Michael Leo, before the game, said he was wearing those neon green cleats. I thanked him for it.
Stole them from the Grinch.
And then this guy's wearing his light blue cleats. Sam English, 15, one of the team captains. He's going to be going against his brother, Ty English, plays for North Carolina. Still 30 seconds to shoot, so plenty of time for Syracuse. Leo, double teams. Has to get rid of it, tried to get it to English. English did a nice job of sealing off his defender.
That's a great double by 33 in blue, Prohaska.
Roa gets his hands free and shoots it wide. Backed up by Syracuse. Skip pass. Score! Michael Leo! And those Grinch green cleats puts the orange up.
Slime green, Cotter. You can't pick him out. Good luck with your eyes. What a pass by Joey Spallina. This is about as good of a through pass as you'll see. In the shot location on Gian Fricaro in the wide base, the right-hander. Where's the hardest place for him to get to, Cotter? It's low and away. Gorgeous placement by the junior, Michael Leo. That's what Syracuse needs. It needs those type of passes. You didn't see a ton of that in the Duke game last week.
Man, that middle of the field is not going to be for the faint of heart today. Picked up by the heels. He got it to Grant Pierce. And he'll stay on temporarily. Ryan Levy, team captain, 14 in blue, comes on. His second midfield unit getting a little bit of time. Nick Dupuis, 29, getting some run. He'll be joined by Brevin Wilson, so this is interesting. The way that Coach Bresci's going to his bench. Keep an eye on Duffy here, 8. Gets it back to Wilson. Wilson can play attack or midfield.
Banged up Owen Duffy, 8 in blue. You see the sleeve on the right leg. He's still quick.
Dupuis. Matten. Whirling dervish shot off the mark. Race won by North Carolina. They'll keep possession.
Dupuis, transfer from Stony Brook, known as a passer. We just saw him thread that last one.
Here he is, working on the short stick defender. Up top to Duffy. Looking to dodge. Obviously, even with that injured leg, he's drawing a lot of attention. Michael Grace, who's had an outstanding season. Matten couldn't handle the pass initially, now gets it back and scores.
Owen Duffy will garner a ton of attention, and Ryan Levy hits James Matten initially, and it looks like he catches his own dropped ball here. Ball's in the air. Figueres doesn't swipe it. 3 orange shirts, doesn't matter. Jimmy McCool wishes the crease was cleared out. There's a look at Matten.
Another face-off win for Carolina, looking for early offense. Duffy couldn't handle the pass, but tracks it down.
So much attention on 8 in blue, 77 in blue. Make up such a big portion of this offense, and when 8's not at full strength, where are you getting the dodging from? It's got to be the midfielders.
Here's Petramala, got his hands free initially. Now the bounce shot goes wide, stays with Carolina.
I like that take.
Matten's backing it up. Wertheim comes across the field. Harshbarger, freshman. Tried to get underneath his defender, couldn't do it. Ryder Ochoa was all over. Now the switch, Matten up top. Here's Duffy. Shot saved by McCool. Want to welcome those of you watching Duke secure the 4th and final spot in next weekend's ACC tournament with their big win over Virginia. Chris Cotter and Paul Carcaterra with you here in the 10-man ride. Jimmy McCool tried to score that 3-quarter field shot, wasn't able to do it. It is 1-1 here early. Syracuse drew first blood with Michael Leo, and then North Carolina countered with James Matten in a goal, and that's where we stand. What's at stake here on senior day for Syracuse? Winner gets a share of the ACC regular season title. If Cuse wins, they're the 1 seed in next weekend's tournament. Hilt scores! Rattles it home, and it's 2-1 Orange.
I mentioned in the open, the wrists and the shooting stroke. You hear it, Cotter. It rattles. Owen Hiltz, when he has that kind of time and room, he absolutely snipes from that same place on the field. You'll see him go low, high from the same release. There's deception. And then the quickness, how he gets that off. And it's why now PLL general managers and coaches want a piece of this guy on their offense, because you put a couple dodgers and playmakers around him, he's too good of a lefty shooter.
Cuse back on top. Just to finish my thought before Hiltz's goal. If North Carolina wins, they'll lose the tiebreaker to Notre Dame, so they'll be the 2 seed. Matten with the shot. McCool steers it aside with his foot. Dangerous pass inside, going to get a loose ball push, and they'll go against North Carolina.
Early on, it looks like Wambach has the upper edge on Mullen. Mullen is a type of face-off specialist, though, that does adjust throughout the course of the game. Like, he's got a short memory. 27 in blue, but Wambach has been incredible this season.
North Carolina, substitution issue, and that shot is high, and Carolina got away with one there.
Both teams, I expect a heavy dose of midfield initiating. The reason being, these short sticks defensive midfield groups are banged up on both teams. Like, who can last? You're gonna ask a lot of your top 2 or 3 short stick D-middies where you wanna go 4 or 5. They don't have that luxury today.
Roa on the far side is Spallina. Here's Leo. He's gonna get to his left hand. Roa fires. Save made by Gianfrancaro.
Good stop by Gio, just staring down a sharpshooter in Luke Roa. When you give him that kind of time, he's going to let it fly, but the grad transfer from Princeton said, not this time, 8.
Figueroa and Duffy got tangled up off ball. No harm, no foul. Ryan Levy, son of Jenny Levy, the women's head coach at North Carolina. It's a family affair down there at Chapel Hill.
Big day for Jenny and the Tar Heels tomorrow, facing BC 1 versus 2 in the ACC championship.
Outstanding work defensively.
John O'Derna on the sideline, defensive coordinator, is not happy with that call. They called a push without possession. There's a look at O'Derna.
Brett Spallina made a nice play defensively. Speaking of family affairs, Joey, Brett, and Jake, all members of this Syracuse team. Duffy working on Figueres. He shoots. That one is wide.
What's lost in all these great offensive players, how strong these defenses have been this season. Syracuse top 15, checking in at number 15 overall in goals per game against. North Carolina, 4 with 3 new starters on defense.
Right,
Dave Petromala's done a phenomenal job.
Maybe the biggest surprise, right? Losing Peter Toman, their best close defender, right a week before the season began to injury.
Just tells you when it comes to defense, it's about the pieces. It's not the individual. Speaking the same language.
One cohesive unit, connected. Save made by McCool. That wasn't a great effort. Off the stick of Dupuis. Basketball coaches always talk about that, don't they, defensively?
I don't know how that's not a push if the other one was, right? The Syracuse fans know lacrosse too well. That's why you hear the boos.
Right. Can Carolina take advantage of the no call? Suchek looking for some help.
And that one would have been with possession in 30 seconds because Carter Rice had the ball.
Petromala, watch out here. Steps into this one, but shoots it wide.
When Syracuse played Notre Dame last month, they were a disaster clearing the ball. If they hit the rewind button and do it again, they're going to be in trouble. Gary Gait knows the value of the ball. But the hardest thing is when you start missing practices, it's the timing and the rhythm of your shot, right? Syncing the two together in terms of the way that you move your lower body and then your shot release when you're being contacted at this level, right? Like he's getting beaten on when he goes to the rack.
Saw 7, James Madden put the ball in play. It's been a day for the 7s. 7 Madden scoring, 7 Leo scoring, 77. Owen Hilt scoring, giving Hughes the lead. That shot is wide.
There's double 7s.
Right.
Dom Petromala, who...
He needs to be on target, doesn't he? Especially
yes,
with Duffy
but he has
hurt.
this season. Much better than last year. He's 26% in 2024. Now he's at 33%. Just finding his seams and his spots, and when that shot's on, good luck saving. It's a lot like Hilt's. It's really hard to track, and it's a swooping motion.
One of the leading goal scorers in the country in the top 10. One of 25 Tewaaraton finalists, Dom Petromala. Suchek gets knocked off his feet. Figueres.
Syracuse in a zone right now.
Wertheim. North Carolina thinks they scored, and the official agrees. That one bounced out of there in a hurry. Now the officials are going to talk things over. Yes, Carolina goal. Wertheim put so much mustard on that one, it bounced right out.
Typically, I love mixing and matching zone and man, but right here, they don't look like they're in sync at all. And Wertheim, the 5th-year grad transfer from Cornell, IQ is one of his strengths. He just stays in that middle zone. Defensively, I thought they were a little bit of a mess there. And they played pretty strong man the first couple possessions for Carolina.
Hey, that last timeout, Billy Dwan, one of the captains on the defensive end on a dead ball, called that timeout. I feel like they're a little out of sorts defensively now.
But the zone is a really good change of pace, especially against a heavy dodging volume team. Duffy's banged up. Outside of Duffy, who is consistently going to the rack for Carolina? You're going to ask these freshmen to do a lot, right? Wertheim and Suchek. Ryan Levy's going to have to go to the rack. But if you lose your main Dodger, or if he's a little nicked up and not at 100%, I would almost challenge them to make me go into zone.
Carolina, or the crowd here, I should say, thought Carolina turned the ball over. Officials disagree. Carolina already with 14 shots in this game. They are letting it fly. Here's Wertheim. Harshbarger too hard.
He's wide open too. To your point, Cotter, this defense right now is a little out of sync, communicating-wise, and just the way that they're showing adjacent. Like, you can't give Harshbarger that much time.
New goalie twig for McCool.
But watch 31 in blue, too. Wertheim, who scored that goal, he's one of their best passers. 14 assists coming into tonight's contest. He really can quarterback the top portion of the offensive sets.
Look at Duffy on the run here. Tried to question mark, thought better of it. Harshbarger, the freshman. Petramala way too high.
Whoa.
Look out.
That ball
cleared all
sailed
the
right in the concourse. You hope it didn't hit someone, but that ball went in the concourse.
Wertheim bounces it high. Petramala will give chase. He'll win the race. Still 31 seconds to shoot, so Carolina with an extended possession here on this half of the field. Petramala shovels it and pays the price. He got leveled. There's Billy Dwan, who let 77 know.
Those two grew up together, played a lot of club ball over the years. Down in Baltimore, the two players' dads coached at Johns Hopkins for 20 years together. Billy as an assistant, Dave as the head coach. A lot of history between Billy Dwan Jr. and Dom Petramala.
Chuck Kaczynski got the turnover. And then what's the call here? We're going to get a push. Carolina gets it right back. Physical play here in the zone, so Carolina keeps it in their zone and a fresh 80 seconds. Levy, saved by McCool.
Cotter, that's Carolina's 19th shot. We still have 3 minutes and 32 seconds left. You want to go for 50 shots a game. They're on pace.
They want to go for 50 in the first half.
That's nuts. This has been a barrage of shots. Now, credit Syracuse is forcing some low-angle shots, but they're getting their looks in this game. McCool's had some great stops.
Yes. He's been the difference so far. Look at English pressing out defensively. Giving Brevin Wilson all kinds of trouble. Levy. Dupuis. Got his hands free momentarily. Wilson. Jitterbug. 3 in blue from Concord, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte.
He's got the feet. So does this guy.
Tough angle. McCool shuts it down.
That was a good double shown by Syracuse coming. Once Duffy started to roll back, they timed the slide beautifully. This offense needs to possess. If you're Syracuse, you've been playing an entire second portion of this first quarter on defense.
Look at that standing
These guys
ovation.
are gassed.
Yes, and they get that crowd appreciation here on senior night. And to your point, this is when Tyler McCarthy and company and Hott will just chill out and run a little bit of clock. McCarthy down the alley. Slide comes. Spallina's able to pick it off. Keep possession to Syracuse. Gets it out here to Hoddle. Hoddle shoots. Jennifer Carr with the save. Stays with the Cuse fresh 60.
Both of these goalies make a ton of kick saves.
The day when the NHL playoffs is heating up. Toronto and Ottawa tonight. A lot of these Canadians on the Syracuse team have a rooting interest in the Leafs from the Toronto area. My understanding is Finn Thompson is the biggest Leaf fan on the team, so he'll be sweating it out tonight.
You a Senators fan?
No, there are no Senators fans. Cortez shoots too high. Sam English telling me he grew up out west in Western Canada, Vancouver. His family, all Vancouver Canuck fans.
There's a matchup with Cole Ashheim on Spalina, the quarterback. Ashheim, first-year starter. I think he's been terrific this season, along with Chase Salucci, who's a freshman, 88 in blue, leads the team in calls turnovers. Then Kai Prohaska. This unit has been locked in together.
Cordes shoots wide.
Salucci, 88 in blue. Both of his parents went to Syracuse. His mom, Dana, was a swimmer and a teammate of my wife, Ann.
Oh, neat. Pressed into action here early when Peter Toman went down right before the season began, and Coach Breshik said 88 in blue has been nothing short of sensational.
Great
8 seconds
too.
to shoot. Spalina's got to make something happen. Shovel shot in traffic. That one stays with Syracuse, but just one to shoot. They'll dump it in the corner. We're at their feet.
You look at like the difference from a communicating perspective. Like, it seems like Carolina defensively is a little bit more locked in, right? They're tighter, making Syracuse kind of create as a dodging team too. And I think Dave Petromala probably knows Syracuse's strength is moving the ball, not necessarily dodging, so you pack it in a little bit.
Cleaner on their clearing as well. And now with 23 seconds remaining in this first quarter, Carolina looking for their first lead today. Suchek over to the far side, Petromala. That shot deflected high and out of bounds.
He's not afraid to shoot, is he?
No. It is grip it and rip it today for North Carolina. Duffy's gonna have to make it happen on his own. Shoulder into the defender, tried to shoot it and got the shot off. Forced McCool to make the save. I don't know how he did it, but McCool was right on the spot like he has been all game. Syracuse goalie, one of the big reasons why this game is still 2-2. It has been physical, hard hitting, as you would.
Brothers, and all different schools too. None of them followed the older brother.
Yeah.
Blazed the trail. They kind of did their own thing, which is, you know, it's pretty neat and says a lot about the individuality. I think Sam and Ty play the most like each other. Two-way guys, can play anywhere on the field. Brooks and Sawyer are the two younger ones. Brooks at Johns Hopkins, Sawyer going to Brown. They're more of like a half-field offensive player who can kind of orchestrate an offense, be a quarterback from the midfield.
Face-off won by North Carolina. Can they keep possession for now? Yes. You'll see both English brothers actually checking each other in this game from time to time. And before the game, we were talking to Sam English about whether there might be any smack talking between these two brothers. And he said, well, the third brother in this trio, Brooks, who plays for Hopkins, kind of challenged Sam English to see if he'll do a little talking against his brother Ty.
Come on, older brother.
See how
Show
that
him who's
happens.
boss, right?
Petromala got a shorty here, shoots wide. He's shooting the ball a ton. He's just a little off target.
They had 22 shots in the first quarter. Season highs 53 against Jacksonville earlier in the year. I mean, they're gonna blitz that if they keep at this pace.
Hager up. Wants to challenge English here. McCool makes the save.
Big body, right? Just takes up so much of the cage, and you see his athleticism too, his ability to make that movement and flop to a lower shot in just an instant.
Speaking of athleticism, you saw that punt return from Carter Rice. Perfect timing.
I think Carter Rice is one of the most underrated short stick defensive midfielders in college lacrosse, and they ask a ton of him.
That pass got through. Hilt's shot deflected by Gianfrancaro. Stays with Syracuse. Joey Spalina put it in play. Syracuse tried to get the big little matchup. Roa, lefty on the run. Decides not to take the shot. Here's English. Like you mentioned, he was on the other side of the field defensively. Now offensively, shoots and scores! Why not leave him on the whole time?
Look who comes and tries to slide, but to no avail. It's little brother. Big brother Sam flexing. There's tie 23. The slide's too late. And this is vintage Sam English. He can get under you, and he's so quick. And how about the choppy stop and go and the ability to put a foot in the turf to change the trajectory of the slide? That's what it did. He lost his angle, but it changed where the slide was coming from. Because that slide was going straight, and then English plants his foot. You got to adjust on the fly. Good luck. It just shows you his ability to hit with low angle. This is a big story developing, too, at the face-off X. Brady Wambach has won 6 face-offs against Johnny Mullen's 0. Let's see if Mullen can adjust.
You see, we're going to be in Charlotte for the ACC Men's Lacrosse Championship semifinal. Games are Friday at 5 and 8 Eastern. Coverage begins with all ACC pregame at 4:30 next week. Like we told you in the open, if Syracuse wins this game, they're the 1 seed in that tournament. They're going to have to deal with North Carolina right now, though, in the middle of the field. Still no possession yet on this face-off. You get an official way off the play, making the call.
Mullen won the clamp against Wambach. So initially Parker Hoffman came up with the ground ball. Statistically, that will go in Carolina's favor, but I think it's big mentally for Johnny Mullen to be able to beat Brady Wambach to the clamp.
Hoddle, lightning bolt. Look at the speed, 19 in orange. That's Finn Thompson. Good to see him healthy again. McCarthy. Thompson played last week for the first time since March 1st. 23 in orange, getting his minutes increasing. Here's Anderson, big freshman, 88.
What you get with Finn Thompson is an increase in terms of volume with the pick game. He loves to set picks.
Here we go. Now he gets free because of it. Knocked off his feet, though. The veteran Frankenheimer defensively causing the turnover. Now he goes the other way with the punt return clear.
That is a tough, gritty, short stick D-midi.
Great catch.
Frankenheimer. I mentioned Carter Rice being asked to do a lot. If you were to check the GPS, the catapults underneath their jerseys for Frankenheimer and Carter Rice today, they're running more than any players on this field. A lot of teams in college lacrosse will run 4 or 5 short stick D-middies. These two teams are nicked up in that spot. They don't have the luxury to do it.
Wilson. Slide comes, and he just lost the ball on his own. Ochoa picks it up. Look at that speed. Spallina, head up. Shot by Delon, just too high.
It's okay if you're a long pole shooting that and you're aiming for a corner and you have the backup, right? Then you allow the offense to regain possession. Here it is, brother on brother again, potentially.
Yep, English slides off to Roa. English tried to feed that past the Hilts. That would have been quintessential 15 to 77 had they been able to hook up like that.
It's the right look, just an errant pass. These guys operate in such tight quarters. They're all box lacrosse players. Finn Thompson, Joey Spallina played in Canada the last 2 years, and obviously Owen Hiltz, Trey Deer.
Beautiful play by Kuz.
Incredible humans. I mean, you couldn't find a nicer guy than Joe Bresci, right? He's all about family, he's all about love, and Gary too. You spend time with Gary. He's so mild-mannered and easy to coexist with. Two gentlemen that are extremely easy to root for.
Carolina in a little bit of a scoring drought here. 77 will try and change that. He passed it to Wertheim. Wertheim's shovel goes wide.
That 1990 game, Syracuse won that semifinal game, I think by 10 goals and won the national championship. That 90 team was the best team I've ever seen. Bresci, though, was a phenomenal defender. I think he had that big wooden stick back then, too. The bucket helmet, the wooden stick.
Wooden stick, just a hatchet. It was heavy, and you felt it. Carolina turned it over, but then so did Syracuse. So Dom gets it back. Harshbarger. Wertheim. Duffy. No look pass.
If I'm Syracuse, I have different rules for Dom Petramala than everyone else. I think when he's adjacent, you have to shade on him big time because he's been a little bit erratic with his shooting right now. If he finds his stroke, forget it. Like, he can light it up. You saw what he was able to do early in the season against Johns Hopkins. Once he feels the confidence, I'd press out to him adjacent more than all the other players.
Harshbarger gets under his defender. Shot, McCool, save. Rice picks up the GB. Here we go again. Like a running back in space. Great ball movement. This time the pole goal goes.
Grad transfer from RIT. Division III Defender of the Year. Climbing up PLL boards as an off-ball defender. McCool's been the difference. Gets hit in the noggin. Spallina is so good at feeding trail players, right? If you're a defender, if you're a short stick defensive midfielder, you know that if you fly out on the clear, Joey Spallina will find you. And you love the release. Billy Dwan tried to go high to high. Michael Grace went old school with the bouncer.
2 D3 titles at RIT. All-American before transferring in. With the new transfer rules, we're seeing more and more players from some of the lower level schools getting an opportunity for a year or two up here at the D1 level, and they're making the most of it.
Yeah, Grace also has international experience. He's one of the few players that were current college players in 2023 in San Diego when we were out there calling the World Championships. And Grace is a unique inside defender. He kind of occupies the same area as the Notre Dame legend in PLL Redwoods, Eddie Glazner. Like, he's just a calming force inside.
John O'Derna didn't like the officials on the call, giving possession back to North Carolina. Grace, another one of those players, the Canadians played hockey growing up from Hamilton, Ontario. Harshbarger. Duffy, watch out. Here he shoots.
If you're Carolina, you're stuck on 2 goals. You're asking yourself, where are we going to get this offense? They have the opportunities. They just can't hit the back of the net. Now, Jimmy McCool has been fantastic, but Carolina continues to generate shot after shot.
Here we go. They got the 2-man game, so they got Ochoa on Duffy here. Patton. Jab step that hit his own teammate in the back. Hughes is going to pick it up.
That's the 28th shot for Carolina. Okay, they're 2 for 28. That's the difference in this game. Like, we can get cute and look at every other statistic. They're 2 for 28.
It's not going to get it done because Syracuse has 4 goals, and you kind of get this, you get the feeling with this crowd here on senior day that they can explode for 4 goals at any moment. English steps into this one. Gianfrancaro, though, stands big. Great outlet. This is Ty English. Can Carolina answer with a pole goal? Get it to Dom. Still, though, Brett Koopman stays in. Now he trots off. Petramala on the run. Scores! You said it. It's just a matter of time before 77 finds his range.
He's super legit. What I love about the shooting mentality of Dom Petramala, once he sees the pick, he's thinking shot right away. He knows that if he can get this pick, and Ty English sets a fantastic pick, you get him to the middle of the field with that kind of angle. It's turn and rate for Jimmy McCool. Look at the placement, too. Lefty goalie, opposite low. Ty English with the box lacrosse background like his brother Sam, so good in the pick game, but Dom Petramala's eyes lit up because the location of that pick, he knew, if I could get through this pick on Dwan, I am shot ready.
Finally scored his first goal of the night on his 10th shot, but it draws Carolina 2-1 midway through the second quarter. Lowe wins the draw.
I was telling you, he can respond. He was down 6-0 in this matchup against Wambach. And then he won that last face-off before this one. From a clamp perspective, I think you just feel like you get into the groove a little bit.
Loved having the conversation with him before the game on his workout routine.
Shocker.
Got the reputation for climbing the fence here at Syracuse and trying to break into the locked gym.
I want to see you two meatheads.
We're gonna
close a weight room down with Metallica just blasting in the background.
It's gonna happen. English defensively knocks his player down, but the Orange pick it up. Now McCarthy, near side, swings it up top to Hoddle. Ty English is checking him.
This defense is pretty packed in, and you're thinking, oh, Syracuse doesn't have a ton of the Dodgers, but if you overextend to them, then they start hitting that hyper-speed ball movement.
Talking about hyper-speed, 19 in Orange. Try to get it to Hiltz inside, chased down by McCarthy. 11 seconds now to shoot for Spallina. Got the shorty matchup. Now the help comes. Inside, Hiltz. Try to do the one extra pass to Cortez, but the horn sounds. That's shot clock violation.
This defense has done their job. Fourth nationally goes against. Whoa, Paul Barton has to recognize that. Right? You got to be better than that as a senior. And Barton's really good in the middle of the field normally. That's uncharacteristic of 24 in blue. That is a costly turnover after your defense just did their job.
Finn Thompson on the ride, caused turnover. Back to Michael Leo. Luke Rowe and company. Here comes Sam English again. Gets it back to Roa, steered aside by Gianfrancaro. Hager up.
Like Dom Petramalo, Roa is not scared to shoot. A couple weeks ago against Cornell, he was 1 for 13.
Five saves on the night for Gianfrancaro so far.
11 from McCool. That's why if you're Syracuse right now, you should not be comfortable. Jimmy McCool, in the erratic shooting for North Carolina, is the reason why they're stuck on 3.
Caden Harshbarger. Back to Duffy. Feed inside. Back up top to Harshbarger. Now Worthon checks in.
Watch him as a passer. The catalyst in the quarterback when he's in there. He gives them another dimension on the invert here as a midfielder.
The senior Carter Rice. That one off the back of the net. Matt chases it. Senior Carter Rice was checking him. Here's Matt. He's got the shorty matchup. Syracuse shows, but they don't go on the slide. Cutting, Petramalo scores!
And he's got that bow and arrow working. You know that he's getting comfortable. I love the off-ball movement by Dom Petramalo. This is a great cut. He catches his defender sleeping. That looks like it was Michael Grace inside, who normally is really good at playing cutters. Petramalo sees Grace staring. When you see the back of the helmet, that's the green light to cut. He's ball watching.
Back in the day, you used to say if you see the laces,
yeah,
because that bucket helmets used to lace up.
Now it's either the back of the helmet, or if he's got long hair, the mullet.
Mullen, look at the battle. Still Carolina got possession initially. Wambach off his back was able to get it to a teammate. What an effort. Here comes Hoffman. He's got lightning speed. Duffy does a nice job to catch it to keep possession.
If you're North Carolina, you feel good about the fact that you're able to generate all these shots without Duffy being a significant factor in this game because of how nicked up he is.
Now Figueres comes back on Duffy. Petramalo up top. Over to Brevin Wilson.
Figueres is playing him far out.
Look at that.
This is what Duffy typically likes, a defender chasing him.
With Wilson able to set picks. Madden back into a defender, shoots it high.
Shows you some strength from Madden, because Grace is not a small customer. 7 in blue. 6'3", 205, meeting Grace.
Dupuis, GLE. Here's Madden again. Shoots. McCool on the save. Dupuis picks it up. McCool's out of the cage. Got to get back in. He does. Petramala. Fresh 60 for Levy and company. Levy on Ochoa. Now the slide comes. Means Wilson is open up top. Avoids a defender. Scores! What a goal by Brevin Wilson!
What a goal is right. When Levy initially feeds Wilson, I'm thinking, you got to shoot 3. You have your time right now, but I didn't know he had this in his bag. Whoop! The underneath, semi-toe drag, top corner. This is gorgeous, splitting the double. And then in one motion, while his stick is low, just with that wrist action, slings it high.
Paid the price, too, as Ochoa laid him out.
He's had some show-stopping goals the last couple weeks. Against Notre Dame last week, against Tyler Buckner is one of the goals of the weekend. Absolutely toasted him at X using the back iron. You're seeing a lot of creativity, quickness, and toughness out of Brevin Wilson.
Out of Concord, North Carolina, where Charlotte Motor Speedway is, right in the heart of NASCAR country. So it's lacrosse country as well. Wambach here, he can take the shot. Instead, he gets to Petramala. Spin move, he scores!
There it is again. If you're Gary Gait, you might want to think about a timeout. That is 4 goals in a row in less than 5 minutes. I told you the Heels were finding ways to generate shots. Now they're canning them. Petramala picks up some garbage off the Wambach stick. And there it is. Once again. I think you got to call a timeout here. If you're Syracuse, it's 2:17 left in the second. What's the use of bringing him into the half?
Right. Petramala was 0 for 9 shooting at one point to start this game. Now he has 3 goals in rapid succession.
What did I tell you?
When he finds his range,
forget it. He's one of the most streaky shooters out there, but when he is on, it's lights out. And then he gets confident, he feels like he can't miss.
And he hasn't missed on his last 3 shots. Carolina now with a 2-goal advantage, their largest of the day. And there's the timeout we were waiting for from Gary Gait. 1:50 left to go in this first half for the first time today. This team trails by 2 goals. Tomorrow, Florida State and Louisville square off in a baseball-softball doubleheader here on the ACC Network at 3 Eastern. The men square off at Patterson Stadium, then head across campus to Ulmer Stadium for softball at 6 p.m. It's been a little over a 7-minute drought for Coach Gait and this Syracuse Orange in terms of their scoring, and it's allowed North Carolina to take this 2-goal advantage.
Game of runs. 4 straight under 5 minutes for the Heels. Credit Brady Wambach. Credit the offense. You know, when you're watching a game like this, Cotter, you just see the volume of shots. I mean, 25 shots midway through the second quarter. Best they've had all season is 53. And they're gonna blitz through that at this pace. You know, like, you can't think as an offensive player a goalie's going to continue to be that hot. Like, Jimmy McCool had 11 saves before this run, but they just kept on going after him, and they're doing it with the pick game and Dominic Petramala, the sharp shooting. Does it with dodging, off ball play, and then the Brevin Wilson goal is just sick. Then Petramala once again gets his 3rd goal of the quarter. He's feeling it. He knows with Owen Duffy banged up, he's gotta make his presence felt. And look at the difference in the shooting. 36 shots. Syracuse only 16. You know, North Carolina relies so much on Owen Duffy Dominic Petramala, over 40% of the goal production is from these two. I mean, the midfield, if you look at their midfield from a goal perspective,
they're about 5 and 6. Levy has 12. 4 of those are man up.
Ty English and Levy are the only two midfielders over 10 goals.
Yep.
They put so much on the plate of him and Dominic Petramala.
Ty English, 19 coming into this game.
But credit John Thompson, the offensive coordinator, too, for dissecting this defense of Syracuse.
Now coming out of the timeout. Let's see what Coach Gate and offensive coordinator Pat March have put into play here. Ty English will be on Roa. He wants to shoot with that left. English. Wow! Right off the pipe. No over and back.
No, not when it hits the pipe.
Banging off the steel.
So Dave Petramala, defense coordinator, looks at English as the biggest threat. He's moving Kai Prohaska, a close defender, up to defend the midfielder English.
Good skip to English. Plants his foot, gets upfield. Slide comes, prevents a shot. Over the back pass from Thompson to Spallina. Spallina's got his defender hung up.
Got all the time in the world if you're Syracuse. Shot clock more than the game clock right now. You can just bleed this thing out.
While you look for a cutter. Look at all the action in the washing machine in the middle. Found one. English couldn't find him, though. English broke open. Now Spallina directing traffic. Comes upfield himself. Rowe was able to pick up that loose ball. Still has it here.
How does he hold on to that?
Picked up by Salucci, though. Can Carolina get an opportunity? Loses it initially. Still lose big ground ball by Syracuse. English too high.
That's where he's so good, though, in the middle of the field. Sam English is a middle of the field game wrecker. You saw how he's part of that ride back and then the ground ball.
Carolina wants to talk things over, not give up a cheap one here with 5 seconds left in the first half. Coach Bresci wants to make sure everyone's on the same page, and defensive coordinator Dave Petramala likewise wants to make sure everything's buttoned up. Take a look at this play with Spallina when he got his defender hung up.
He's just looking for the cutters. Watch 15 in orange. He gets free right here. He's wide open. He's wide open there. I think Spallina's going to watch the tape and say, I should have hit Sam there. The one thing, Sam English is a dominant right-handed player. He's a Canadian. He plays with one hand. If he was a lefty, I think Spallina would have fed that instantly because it would be to the outside.
Yep.
I think he was probably a little bit concerned if he had enough angle from behind the cage to get that to the right-handed Sam English. 5 seconds left. You see Dave Petramala, left side of the screen.
Halftime's coming up just around the corner here in the Dome. We're going to tell you what happened in that wild Duke-Virginia game. A lot riding on the line in that game for Duke as far as the NCAA tournament, for Virginia as far as the ACC tournament.
Yeah, Virginia season's done now.
Yep, they're over. Duke wins that game in overtime. We got a recap coming. Also, we're going to look forward to the ACC, well, look at the ACC Women's Championship.
That's going to be a doozy tomorrow. Could be the second part of the trilogy.
Yes, the two best teams in women's lacrosse all season long have been Boston College, North Carolina. They'll face each other for the second time. First time was on the campus in Chapel Hill.
1-goal game.
North Carolina won that game.
What's your feeling? Like, if these two teams are so dominant, right? And Northwestern's in the mix there, too. You potentially could play each other 3 times. Do you take any stock into, is it better to lose one of them?
It's kind of like, I think about when, like, St. John's and Georgetown were in the Big East in the mid-'80s, and they faced each other in the regular season in the Big East tournament. St. John's won in the regular season. Georgetown ended up beating them in the Final Four. Roa, it's going to be a tough angle. Can't get it on goal. Take a breath, everybody. What a first half that was. About as exciting as a 10-goal combined first half can be. Physical play. You know Coach Bresci loves that. Beautiful goal here by Brevin Wilson. Heels by 2 at the break.
Carolina dictated pace and tempo because of Brady Wambach, 9 of 12 at the face-off dot. So that gives this team a lot of opportunities shooting the rock, but Jimmy McCool's got 12 saves. He's the difference. Otherwise, to be quite honest with you, Cotter, Syracuse would be getting blitzed right now. McCool is using his body to make stops, and he's been absolutely terrific. But when you have the ball that much and you're generating all those shots, 36 of them, Dom Petramala starts the first half 1 for 10, right? And then he finishes with 2 goals during that run that they go on late in the second quarter. 4 goals in less than 5 minutes. They were heating up, and I love the varied type approach to the offensive shooting of Dom Petramala.
You see the shots, 36-18. Then Petro, you mentioned he was 0 for 9, and then he gets a hat trick.
Yep.
In almost a blink of an eye.
I told you in the first quarter, beware of him. Because if he starts feeling it, he's not one of these guys that when he starts 0 for 6, he's going to stop shooting.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot until he gets hot.
Volume shooter, as we often say in basketball. Works for lacrosse as well. What's at stake? Syracuse clinches the #1 seed in the ACC tournament with a win. With a loss, they're the 4 seed and would play the top seed Fighting Irish on Friday in Charlotte.
And if you lose that game, the loser of this game, if they lose a semifinal game in the ACC, then you have to start worrying about the rest of the lacrosse world. And you live in that bubble, right? And
like what's Army doing?
Yeah.
Did Army lose?
Yeah, if Army doesn't win the Patriot, which they haven't.
Is somebody making a
ton,
run
right?
like Rutgers or in the Big Ten, like we've seen with Michigan the last couple of years, bit stealing?
Yeah, the loser of this game and a loss could be that team that's sweating.
So let's see how Syracuse comes out of the break. With possession, Spallina. Inside, try to find English. Hiltz picks up the loose change. The other English with the turnover, he gives it right back. It's a dangerous situation right here, and it ends up burning North Carolina. Finn Thompson at the doorstep. Ty English gave it away. Hiltz found his fellow Canadian wide open.
Hiltz eventually corrals this ball off an errant pass by Ty English. And when you give it to Finn Thompson in tight, just count it. Like, he is automatic from this range. One of the best Junior A box lacrosse players in the Canadian League. Just known for dominating in terms of his finishing ability. But that's a costly turnover by Ty English, who had a couple last week against Notre Dame, like uncharacteristic of him. Just turning the ball over and then giving the offense another opportunity.
Look at Wambach just snatched that ground ball out of the air.
That's what's so impressive, Cotter, right? It's not just the ability for these guys to win the clamp. So you win the battle, but you don't win the war, right? All of that toughness and skill of Brady Wambach goes out the door with a turnover like that. It's all about possession.
Little momentum early for Syracuse. Took advantage of a North Carolina mistake on the last possession. Here's McCarthy. The Orange looking to knot things up. It's a Syracuse team that came into last week #1 in the country themselves in the fewest turnovers. They turned the ball over 18 last week, and then 8 in the first half here. There's another one.
Yeah, it was a season high, tied with the Utah game in early March when they went out to the Wasatch Mountains. But was concerning to me was only 2 players got assists last week. Joey Spallina and Luke Rowe. Only 2 players have assists tonight. Joey Spallina and Owen Hiltz. This offense operates a lot better. Failure to advance, didn't get over the midline in 20 seconds. They operate much better when 5, 6, 7 guys are having assists, because then you see that magic that we talked about in the open when it's hot potato and the ball just spins. Having 2 players with assists last week against Duke, you can't be shocked that you were stuck at 7.
Right. Carolina had only 4 turnovers in the first half, Clark. They have 3 in the middle of the field here in the first couple of minutes of this second half.
And that's a way that you can negate Brady Wambach's dominance, right? It's all about possessions. Where are you going to find those possessions if you're Syracuse?
Here's the ball movement. Gianfracara with the save.
Got to clear it.
This is Ashine. Takes the hit, absorbs the hit, and spins free.
I think Leo got a little nicked up when he hit Ashheim. He's hurting right now. 7 in orange is hurting. That was one of those collisions.
Right.
Where it's a lot better when you collide with someone and someone falls. When you get like meat on meat and there's no give, those ones hurt.
Like when a race car breaks apart, when it hits the wall, it dissipates the energy.
Exactly.
If you don't fall, it's like 2 trucks hitting each other. Neither one of them giving any ground. Duffy, the extra pass.
There are these turnovers, right?
Duffy should have shot that one, don't you think?
Yes.
He tried to get it to Petramala. But when you're an All-American in that spot, how did you let it rip? Rice. Look at that toughness.
Whoa.
Bad pass, though.
Right back. This is like exchanging blows of who can play sloppier.
Carolina tries to settle things down here a little bit. Here's Petramala. He's going to jump in, though, step down.
Well, Cotter, if that ball is on cage, how do you save that?
Right.
Because it's a totally different release, too. Like, he's got that underhand swooping one. That was direct overhand.
Now, that's his spot. How do you let him step down?
That's what I was saying earlier. You have to have different rules for him when he's adjacent. Okay, he's not Joe Schmo on the lefty wing.
Good feed inside. Madden had no way to shoot it, though. Lost his angle. Figueres, nice job driving him to the side. Wertheim. He shoots on the run. Couldn't get a whole lot on it. Race for the ball, and it's won by Madden. It's good hustle by 7 and blue. Figueres was all over it. Still 30 seconds to shoot for Petramala and company. Inside, scores! That's 4 for 77.
He's having a day. And if you're Jimmy McCool, you should be livid that he can run through that many orange shirts. That time there's no pick needed there. He blows by Dwan, and there's no help. You see all those orange shirts. And Dom Petramala is roaming through the crease area, untouched. Like, if you're Jimmy McCool, you have to be calling out defenders. Whoever's hot, you need to lay a body on that. Credit Dom Petramala, too, because Owen Duffy, because of his health issues, you're not getting the typical oomph from the attack, right? From a dodging standpoint. He's stepping up tonight. He's got multiple unassisted goals.
Face-off violation. Hoffman is really quick. Look out, though. Man, he's diminutive, too. Duffy thought about stepping down, got it to Madden instead at X.
So if I'm Carolina and Duffy is struggling with his matchups, there's 2 things you can do. Could put Brevin Wilson back at attack, 3 in blue, who's got firecracker feet, or Ryan Levy can play in quarterback as well. So there's other options if you want to get more generated offense from behind. You can put those middies back there too.
Well, oftentimes we've seen as well, they'll invert. We've seen 8 up top quite a bit tonight for North Carolina. And you get 14 back at X. You get 3 sometimes. Those 2 are on this second midfield unit. Beautiful feed inside, and Levy is angry with himself because that was a great pass, and he just missed.
I think he had more time to turn his shoulders and locate the goal.
Here's Dupuis. Duffy couldn't handle that pass. Another turnover against North Carolina.
Good news for Syracuse. It looks like Michael Leo will enter the game. We talked about that collision.
Got a flag down as well. That's been a rarity tonight. be the first flag I've seen.
I think you're correct, my friend.
This one's going to go against North Carolina. We think they're offside. Let's count. They are. If you're offside once, you might as well stay offside. They have 7 players on the defensive side.
You don't want to go man down against Syracuse. 52%, 6th nationally. You play to their strength when you give them an extra man because of the way they move the ball. Like, you're not forcing them to break a defender down.
Yep.
Blue, number 8, 30,
and with a healthy Finn Thompson now, they're even more deadly.
Yes. That's a great point.
Duffy is guilty of the infraction. He'll sit for 30 seconds.
Those numbers are elite already. 6 nationally, 52%, like I mentioned. And to be honest with you, more than half the season they've been out with 2 guys in Finn Thompson and Jackson Birtwistle, who's a mainstay. He's done for the year with a lower body injury. So you were working this unit with 2 replacements.
And they'll put in Trey Deer, 91, who is a box lacrosse whiz. Great in tight spaces. Hiltz thought about stepping down. Neal fires high. Initial save made by Gianfrancaro, and he tracks it down.
Gio's on those high shots tonight. I think the way to beat Gio is to go low and away on him. He is ready to pop with that low stance. You see the explosiveness, how he pops with his top hand.
Hager up, looking for some help, gets it. Now Petramala wants a pick.
This is something to see. All 3 Spalinas are on the field.
Yes.
That's Jake Spalina, 44 on the ball right now. Brother Brett, fellow short stick D-Midi, and then obviously Joey on the other end. We talked about the English brothers being the Hansen brothers. This is a true Hansen brother trio, right on the field at the same time.
Harshbarger. Good feed inside. Petramala just a little bit wide. Clock ticking down in the midpoint of this 3rd quarter. It was a 2-goal advantage for Carolina at the half. It remains such. Wertheim nowhere close to being on target, but tracked down by Petro, so will stay with Carolina.
See, Wertheim had to shoot that ball early because they showed, the Syracuse defense showed. On those Petramala dodges, they're not ready to slide. Like, you have to support these matchups.
Petramala, tough angle, McCool to save.
We were talking earlier, too. He starts 0 for 9 shooting. The beauty of Dom Petramala is if he's 0 for 9, there's another sloppy turnover. 0 for 15, like he's taking that 16th shot.
Yeah, it's like a
both players are like,
I
don't know, I'm not shooting well tonight. And then you're like halfway shooter,
not
halfway not shooter. No, not him. Like he sprays it.
Right.
Regardless.
It's Steph Curry.
He's got the shortest memory of what his streak is.
4 failed clears for each team. Heck, I think they each have 4 in this half.
Yeah, and Syracuse had 7 in the game that I did here against Notre Dame.
Dupuis gets around his defender. That pass, he should have shot it. Trying to get it to Matt, and he's right in the slot.
And I think Syracuse is playing way too far out on Dupuis there. Like you're inviting it to become a speed matchup. When you guard an offensive player as a defender out there at the 40-yard line, like you're asking for a foot race.
English, he's in trouble. He turns it over. McCool's got to get back in goal. Here comes Duffy.
And that's not typical of Sam English, not to find space and get it over the midfield line. This is trouble for Syracuse. You've been playing a lot of defense the entire game, and now you can't clear the ball. And you have the same short stick D-Middies out. And Owen Hiltz is caught, and now it's a numbers game through the substitution. So Souček has numbers here.
Right. Levy can't find him. Duffy, though, to his left. Too high. Just not his normal self.
Well, I mentioned when you are nicked up and you're possibly missing some time at practice, like you lose the ability to have the flow between your stick and your body as one. the timing and the rhythm.
Wertheim scores! Timing and rhythm, perfect for 31 in blue. 3-goal lead, the largest of the night for Carolina.
Known as a passer. Only 5 goals heading into tonight's contest up in the Dome. They're saying, let him beat us as a Dodger, not a passer. Well, he says, I'm taking the rock, and I'm getting what's mine.
Power and big name program.
From 1 to 4, right in the basement. But the reality, Cotter, is if you lose this game and then you lose the semifinal game, depending if there's anything a little nuts nationally, there's some bid stealers, right? Like, you think Army's probably a lock no matter what. They have a head-to-head with North Carolina. Even if they lose the Patriot League championship or in that tournament, they're probably safe. That's a bid steal, right? So you don't want to live in that world.
Not that you would think Rutgers would win the Big Ten or that Yale would win the Ivy, but it's a possibility. You're going to have to keep an eye on those tournaments.
The bubble is small right now.
Yeah. And
but
the possibilities are limited.
Yeah.
McCool steers that one aside. Carolina picks up the loose ball, though Harshbarger's in a little bit of trouble. Gets it up top. Fresh 60, Owen Duffy. That pass can't be handled. Another not quite turnover. Suchek's in trouble. Now he's not in trouble. Madden, saved by McCool.
McCool's bailing him out. This score could easily be 10, 11, 12, 5. Like, McCool's been a difference maker for Syracuse.
Step down, Petramala too high. And McCool's shouting at his teammates.
He's got 15 saves. Syracuse has 6 blown clears. Like, you're just...
He's under assault.
You're asking for it. 48 to 23 on the shots.
Still over 30 seconds on the shot clock, so Carolina can be deliberate here. Harshbarger couldn't get the pass. Inside, though. Dangerous spot here.
These defensive grounders are everything. I think they're going to get him withholding. I think Suchek was withholding the ball, trying to get out of that
scrum,
that flurry. But can Syracuse clear? I mean, that's been the Achilles heel. 6 blown clears. You're losing face-offs. You can't clear the ball. And you're letting Dominic Petramala shoot the ball.
And yet, McCool has been so good, it's just a 3-goal deficit. That can change with this offense in a second.
But they need the ball.
Well, they've got it here. And the freshman Anderson, it seems like forever since we last called his name, on Hagra. Tried to feed it through the middle, all kinds of traffic. Still down, Hiltz picks it up.
That would have been a costly turnover if Syracuse had to go back and defend again.
And now, smartly, English and Hiltz will just play catch for a little bit. English will see if he can get a pick for Roa here. Defender slides it. English, though, has some room. Sounded like that one pinged off the pipe. Stays with Syracuse.
Well, that should be a reset.
It was. Back to 60. Spallina. Tried to get his defender on skates. He's GLE. Trying to back his way in. Shoots. Jeffrey Carr with the save. Ty English. He's going to run out of room. Gets it to Hager up. Now he's running out of room, but uses his speed to get the clear. And now he's got Roa on the defensive end.
And English. These guys have been logging minutes. This is something Sam English, 15 in orange, is accustomed to, but you're caught and then you throw out 3 fresh Carolina offensive midfielders into the mix here. So they got the substitution game going.
Yeah, Roa was able to check out, but here's Sam English checking Wilson. Dupuis. Far side of Petramala. Got the right on the run. Bouncer scores! He just continues to fire away.
He's got a 5 spot. And everyone knows Dominic Petramala as a lefty wing shooter. Well, guess what? He's got 3 unassisted goals in this game, willing his way to get to the rack. And if you don't disrupt that bottom hand while he's in his shooting stroke, just count it. If I'm Syracuse, I'm thinking about adjusting one of 2 ways. Maybe you throw that zone back, or if you want to stay in man, you probably have to change the matchup. You have Figueres on Duffy right now, but he's limited. I would switch Figueres, your #1 cover guy, to go on Petramala.
And you can see it's still Billy Dwan on Petro.
But he wasn't beaten on that last one. It looked like Chuck Chazinski was caught on Petramala. I just think he's doing the majority of the dodging, and if you were going to have Figueres on Duffy, until Duffy really shows you that he's back, you might want to play a little chess there.
Clearly not the same player. Hustle by Syracuse in the middle of the field, gets possession. Hiltz spins back to his right. Good feed, score! It's Cordes who buries it after Hiltz found him cutting to the goal.
This is why Owen Hiltz is so effective. If you put a short stick on him, he might not beat you with quickness, but he will beat you with patience. He just waits until the eyes want to support this matchup. And once he gets those eyes, he's a tremendous passer. Everyone thinks about Owen Hiltz as that big lefty shooter like a Dom Petramala on the wing, but he's such an elite passer, and Cordes knows when you have a guy like Owen Hiltz or Joey Spallina, and if they're carrying the ball, Cotter, you move differently because you know you'll get rewarded for your off-ball play, and Cordes on senior night cans it.
First Syracuse goal in over 13 minutes. Mullen wins the face-off. Just like they did at the end of that first half. Can Q's get a little bit of momentum here going into the 4th quarter?
Well, the good news for Syracuse, too, is Johnny Mullen is not winning the statistic battle against Brady Wambach, but he is getting some clamps in there.
Leo shoots, scores! The lefty from Seaford. It's 2 straight for the Orange.
Slime Green on his feet, and he beats Gianfrancaro. Where did I tell you you should shoot on Gianfrancaro?
Low, because he's been too good up top.
He's too good up top, but he's not even using his stick there to step to the ball. He's got the wide base. He's been phenomenal up top. But if he's going to rely on those ankles to make that stop, good luck. Without your stick. Like, you can't be part of the play without your stick. He's losing his stick because of the push.
If you look at that play, though, think about a clip in football. If you see the front numbers, and I think Duffy might have been right on his shoulder. I'm not saying it's 100% for sure that it was a push in the back.
Okay, so the only way that they could call that without playing with your stick is if he's pulling him down, and they're calling that from the side. So
that's right.
Yeah. You see it there. It's such a bang-bang play, so The Duffy, they're saying it's from the side, possibly, and it's not a push, but Jasinski's losing his stick, so the call was playing without his stick.
And since he's holding him without the stick, he's involved in the play. And that's a procedure call against Syracuse, and that's what the call was.
When we saw it in replay that first time, it just looks like a blatant push from Duffy, but if you go really slow.
And at that angle, Duffy might have been able to get in front of that shoulder.
Well, it's easy. If they're saying it's not a push from the rear, then he's blatantly playing without his stick.
Yes. That was the call they made. You can agree with it or not. It's bang, bang. Levy scores! That's one. Again, it's for an unreleasable penalty, so there's still a man up for 1:41. This is a critical time in this game.
So it's 9-7 at that juncture. When the no push on Duffy, the playing without the stick by Jasinski. And then they get that Harshbarger goal late in the third quarter. The hit to the head by Dwan's 2 minutes, and then Ryan Levy, you saw him in the third quarter. The difference between that shot in the third quarter, he stared down the net. He turns his shoulder and he looks at his target. In the third quarter, he missed that shot, and this time he adjusts and makes it count.
His 5th man-up goal of the year. This is a massive face-off right here. Carolina is still a man up.
And it's 2 minutes. And that was another piece of that breakdown, too. Is that a 2-minute penalty? Direct contact to the head on Dwan. I thought maybe 1 minute. That's going to be 30 seconds.
That's going to be another penalty against Syracuse. Hoddle can't believe it. The fans can't believe it. Everybody's got their arms up on the bench. I think it's a legit call.
I do, too. Look, I didn't agree with the 2 minutes for Dwan. Maybe a minute. But what do you expect there? I mean, what are they doing? That is blatantly a push from the back. Right? He gets him in the back. That's from the rear.
I agree with you on that. Fans are, to your point, they're unhappy with how we got here in the first place.
Right? It was 9-7, and now the game is spinning out of control.
And it's as passionate a fan base as you're going to find in this sport. So now for the next 30 seconds, North Carolina's 2 men up. It's one of those, Clark, where you almost think if you just gave up that one goal and that's it throughout this whole entire process, Syracuse would be fortunate. Wertheim. Petramala way too high. Look out. Still 7 seconds in the 2-man up. Now back to 1-man up. Duffy. Levy back to Duffy far side. Forcing Wertheim, gets back to Carolina.
Watch 77. He's got 19 shots already tonight. 19,
it's laughable. He's had such a great game. 5 goals to go along with those shots. Bounce pass. Wertheim, he shoots. McCool is the one who makes the save. Now 10 seconds left on the man down. English will try and run it out himself. Gets the midfield with the clear.
This is why they call him a two-way.
They're going to be able to get through all of that, giving up just 1 goal. And they're still in this game because of that.
That clip right there just shows you the value of Sam English. Getting a tough grounder on the defensive end and punt return clear. Outrunning every single player on the Carolina team.
Michael Leo down the alley. Tough angle, doesn't want to do it. Spallina. Roa to Anderson. Leo. Back to his left.
That's good defense. That is very good defense by Hagerup.
Crowd didn't like it. Leo now. Loses his footing. Hagerup is all over it. Shot clock at 10. Syracuse can't capitalize, at least initially, on that penalty kill. If you're North Carolina, you want this possession to last, don't you? Syracuse has been on defense an awful lot here over the last few minutes. You don't want to give them a reprieve. And if you're Syracuse, you're just battling through it.
The issue, too, is if you're Syracuse and you want to go on a run, you're dealing with Brady Wambach. And statistically, he's owned the matchup tonight against Johnny Mullen.
Levy shoots. Just a little wide. Did not get a piece of it, so the shot clock remains at 34. Wilson on Rice. Throws that one behind Owen Duffy.
That's what you're going to have to do if you're Syracuse. You're going to have to force some of these turnovers on the defensive end to get the extra possessions. You're staring at Brady Wambach. Disaster zone. The lack of clearing. And now another penalty on a late hit by Spallina. You can honestly say Syracuse is imploding. Since the last 30 seconds of the third quarter, the amount of mistakes that they've made, it's going to be really tough to get back in this one. Now you have a fresh 60. You've got a penalty in your pocket.
Right.
You got 10 minutes. You can bleed this thing to 8 minutes in your sleep if you're Carolina. 7
failed clears on the day for Syracuse. That is a big number. It's so often the case, isn't it, Carr? Things aren't going your way. What do you do as a team when they aren't going your way?
You know, your leaders have to lead. Both of their words and their actions, too. And I think Gary Gait he's got these 2 timeouts, and he might need to use one of these earlier than he anticipated to get the defense some rest, because they've been playing a ton of minutes.
Right. Rice is on Petro here. Harshbarger in the middle of the field shoots. That one is wide. Stays with Carolina. That was close. Just 6 seconds on the shot clock. But we're going to get the flag, though, and that's going to change everything.
Calling the field, it's contact to the head.
Wow, they're going to review this too. Contact to the head.
Let's take a look at the.
I thought originally it was a push by Spallina in that far corner.
Let's take a look at this.
Okay, so, well, that's a late hit for starters, but we got to see. See, Gianfrancaro goes low.
Yes. I mean, that's. Here's the problem with it, is Spallina extends with the cross.
He does,
but
my question to you is, does he hit him in the head if he doesn't drop low right here? He drops before Spallina goes after him. This is going to be a very interesting call.
You could have just a late hit here.
I'm good with the late hit. I mean, he gets rid of that ball, and it's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. There's a late hit there.
Right.
But contact to the head. That would have been right near the shoulders. He looks like he might be falling down, but then if you see it from that angle,
the stick is elevated.
He might be doing some extra time here.
I could understand why the call would go both ways. He can't. Right now, Gary.
After review, red, number 23, unnecessary roughness, late hit, 1 minute releasable.
Okay, that's a big difference. Because if it's to the head, then you're dealing with 1, 2, or 3 minutes.
Right.
Gary Gait doesn't like it.
Shaking his head, but
it's a late hit.
It was late.
I mean, he threw the ball. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, hit him.
Could be a late hit. Could be a cross check. I mean, he could have made a couple of calls on that play.
But I think when they reviewed it, they saw what we saw. Yes, it was late, but Gianfrancaro throws it when he sees Spallina coming. He does get lower.
Yeah. Either way, again, adversity for Syracuse. They have been on defense for a long time at the end of the third here in the early parts of this fourth quarter.
I wouldn't let 77 shoot, and they're going to let him shoot. Based on the way that they're allowing him to marinate on that left wing, they got lucky.
Wertheim just turned the ball over inexplicably.
I mean, this guy is something else in terms of his stamina, his ability to play two ends. Sam English he's a unicorn in the college game right now. There's no one that's doing what he's doing at this level, at this competition, to play defense, to play man down, to clear the ball, and then stay on offense. He's at the crease right now, huffing and puffing, but he'll get his win back. And that's why he's going to be such an elite pro in the PLL, because he can fill so many holes for you.
Draft coming up a week from Tuesday, PLL draft. We'll be in Bristol. Ryan Boyle and Dana Boyle. This is going to be another turnover, maybe an over and back. No. Roa saves it. Good help from Figueres. Now we're going to get a call against North Carolina. Bronx cheer from the fans here in Syracuse.
That was a really good play by Figueres and Luke Roa together.
Inside, that shovel shot.
It's between the legs by Finn Thompson.
Yes. That's what he brings to the table. Let's get the call.
23-30
Call against Ty English.
Those are two high school teammates working together. Figueres, 11 in orange. Roa, 8. What a ground ball, right? How does he keep that in his state? So go extra man if you're Syracuse, one of the strengths of your team. 6 nationally in the power play. Time's ticking away, my friend.
I know, but and yet at the same time, Syracuse is hanging in there. They're down 4. They can chip away here, man up. Spallina. Thompson. That's Hiltz. Skips it to Spallina. He shoots. It's deflected before it even gets to the goal. Hiltz gives chase. Still 10 seconds. Looks up at the clock. Spallina again. Hiltz. Leo that time took a step upfield to get a better angle. Thompson. Even strength. Hiltz wide. English is out of the penalty box. We're at even strength. 24 to shoot on the shot clock for the Orange. Roa comes back in. English will check him. Roa, 8 in orange. As two-handed as any of these midfielders. This time English on the move. Inside, scores! That time Finn Thompson didn't miss.
In terms of resolve, right? Dom Petramala starts off 0 for 9 and then has a 5 spot. Finn Thompson goes between the legs, and then
Dominic Petramala has had a ridiculous game. 19 shots. He's scored 5 goals on those shots. Jimmy McCool in goal has been sensational as well for Syracuse, especially early, keeping the Orange in it. Finn Thompson just scored on a shovel shot. And that's where we are right now. Can John Mullen come back at the face-off dot here in this fourth quarter and even things out? It's been Brady Wambach for the most part, but here goes Mullen.
And that's a Mack truck boxing a player out. I mean, that is a big slab of beef.
That's want right there. And it's possession what Syracuse needs here in the second half of this fourth quarter if they want to complete this comeback. Roa now back to his left. Quick passing, Leo. Off the pipe, like Gianfranco Carl might have gotten a piece of that first. Then it deflected off the pipe. Big GB here. Picked up by the heels. Dangerous pass, but it goes to a teammate. Nice look. Madden scores on the fast break.
Dangerous pass by Prohaska, but if you're going to throw it to them in the middle of the field, Leo's unlucky with the pipe. But look at all the shirts and the want. You talk about want. Look at Prohaska. If you're going to throw it to the middle of the field, throw it out, not towards the goal. Carolina flies out. Duffy with his 4th assist of the game finds James Madden with little angle. Solves Jimmy McCool. Credit Owen Duffy, too, because he's been limited. But he's got 4 assists on the night. He's taking the top cover guy in for Garris away from the defense. That allows Petramala then to kind of get his seams. So
Wambach.
Duffy's presence is huge in this game,
No
Cotter.
question about it. Wambach timed that one absolutely perfect. And now Carolina with this 4-goal lead. It's far from over, but certainly North Carolina is going to be a lot more deliberate on the offensive end when they get these face-off wins now from here on out. And you can see Harshbarger, you can see 77 Petramala, Suchek, another freshman. He loses his footing, gets it back, and does a nice job to get it to Duffy. Wertheim, another veteran. Been through it all with Cornell before transferring to North Carolina for a graduate year. And on the opposite end, Harshbarger, the freshman. Rice, one of the best short stick teammates on him. Now the double team comes. Wertheim near side, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Now Carolina's going to go to the goal. Petramala scores on the run! Tying a career high, 6 goals. What an unbelievable night for 77 in blue, and the Carolina fans have made the trip, starting to wave bye-bye to the orange.
The man of the match, double 7s. It's a poor approach by Chuck Jasinski. He doesn't break down, he chases. Petramala sniffs that out. There's different ways to dodge. You could be like an Owen Duffy and beat a guy at an end line, or you could dodge off a poor approach. He knows the defense. The way they're shading to him is compromised. All you got to do is play and give him a little bit more, drop the right plant foot, and then it's a sea of green to shoot at.
Mullen getting possession. Stays with the orange as McCarthy tracks it down. The orange now have to play with a sense of purpose. Down 5, under 5 to play.
If they drop this one, it'll be 3 straight. Held under 10 goals last week against Duke. Just 7. Tonight, 8. And remember, this game was 9-7 with 30 seconds left, and you felt the momentum was going Syracuse's way. And all of a sudden, the 2-minute penalty, and Coach Roy Simmons Jr. used to say, Cotter, when it rains, it pours.
And it was raining earlier outside the friendly confines here inside the dome, and it poured on Syracuse at the end of that 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter. A lot of fans are going to be upset with the officiating at that moment, but you're going to get calls that aren't going to go your way, and how you respond to it is going to determine how far you move along in May. And Syracuse wasn't able to respond to it tonight. North Carolina took advantage of their opportunities.
And I give a lot of credit to this offensive unit, finding different ways to generate offense. Obviously, it's Don Petramala with the 6 goals, but Spencer Wertheim had some big moments. James Madden, Levy, just they're finding ways to stay balanced. Yes, it was heavy Petramala today, but there was a cast of characters that got involved and that got him the ball too in great spots.
20 seconds to shoot. Defender loses his stick. Step down, scores by that man, Brevin Wilson, who's another one of those players who's had a fantastic night.
You see all the fans leaving. The Orange fans are leaving, the Carolina Blues celebrating. Nick Kakemo loses his stick, so you have to show if you're Jake Spallina and Brevin Wilson. North Carolina born and bred. Coached by a great lacrosse pro in Pete Poulion and Brett Frood, who I played in the Dome against, played at Brown. This he's something else. You see the 7 goals, but it's the last couple of weeks. Like when you're a freshman and you're starting to feel it. Big goal against Notre Dame last week. 2 huge ones tonight.
Big collision. Mullen's going to win more of those big collisions and he's going to lose. And he keeps possession. Orange have got to score in a hurry. Rowe is going to step down here too high.
Spinning it forward too in an ordinary year. Syracuse would be sweating losing 3 straight. The bubble is small unless there's some bid thieves.
Rowe deflects off the pipe.
Like, could you imagine if Yale won the Ivy?
Right.
If
a tough
BU
imagine,
or
but it
someone
could happen.
else. Yes, it is a tough imagine, especially when you watch them play against Princeton tonight.
Yes. Rutgers as well. Rutgers is alive as Syracuse gets one back. Rutgers is alive in the Big Ten. They beat Michigan, the team that everybody circled and said Michigan could be the team that once again steals bids, but now Michigan's season's over.
Well, look, Rutgers has the recipe to be a disaster matchup because they have Carden Stoller, the goalie.
And a face-off man that can win you a lot of draws, as we've seen tonight.
Absolutely. There's Spallina with a good pass and English not quitting on the play. This offense just didn't have the ball enough tonight. It was plagued by, yes, losing some face-offs, but you can't blame. Mullen won some big ones in the second half. I think the clearing did them in tonight. I think the clearing was a disaster for Syracuse. But getting back to Rutgers, this Carden Stoller guy, the sophomore from down in Baltimore, he's a different breed.
Right.
I mean,
he's stealing you 3 or 4 goals a game.
They beat Maryland this year.
Right. They've got a couple of big wins.
So if Rutgers
got another one today against Michigan.
If Rutgers was to win the Big Ten,
that takes the
Syracuse is sweating bullets.
Yes. Especially if Army were to not win the Patriot. The committee says that team is still good enough to get in, even with 2 losses on the year in Patriot League play.
If everything flushes out with the favorites and what people think is going to happen in all these conferences, Syracuse has the RPI. They've got some quality wins. You got that win against Notre Dame.
Right. And certainly they'll have another opportunity against Notre Dame Friday night in Charlotte, and you win that game and you're in. North Carolina calling a timeout here. Just under 140 left to go in this game.
I just think, Cotter, you have to think this type of season that Syracuse had, right, where they were preseason #2, so much momentum, and then they lose the game to Maryland, and then a couple weeks later they're upset in the Dome against Harvard. Then they find their footing again and look great against Notre Dame. But now they lose 3 straight since then. Heading into May, like the last thing you want to do if you're Gary Gait is have to root for certain teams to win and certain teams to lose.
Yep.
You want to have the hay in the barn.
Big reason why it is not yet has been 77 in blue tonight. Tying a career high, 6 goals. Dominic Petramala was sensational on a night when Owen Duffy, he just was not himself, and he hasn't been himself because of injury.
Dominic Petramala was absolutely terrific. And what I'm so impressed about with Petramala, see all these blown clears and sloppy play.
Officials are looking at the clock. That's why we put that out there to make sure we get the clock right.
Yep.
And they will.
Is the way that he started and then the way that he rebounded. I mean, how many players would have run for the hills starting 0 for 9?
Never even thought for a minute about not taking that 10th shot. 20 shots on the game for Tom Petramala and a career-high 6 goals.
The good news is he hit 6 of them, and 6 was plenty. It was good enough on a night where he was a dodger, a cutter off ball. He had a masterful offensive display with variety. And that's what made it so sweet for Petromalo tonight. No two goals looked the same. I mean, this guy was hammering shots.
Back underway, going to get a flag. It's going to go against North Carolina. Some sloppy play in the final minute and a half here inside the dome.
Ball's on North Carolina. Number 33. Slash. 1 minute. Please recut the shot.
The reality of it all,
the
too,
way up to
Connor,
eight.
is there was a lot of build-up to this season with Syracuse. This junior class, #1 rated recruiting class in the country when they were coming out of high school. They're the upperclassmen now. They went from being a 500 team to going to the quarterfinals last year and losing by 1 goal to Denver. The next step, the reality is championship weekend.
Finds a cutter, score. And that's Gregory Elijah Brown. And the reason why the Syracuse bench lights up is because it's senior night. And Elijah Brown's a senior, so he gets one.
He's been a mainstay on the extra man. You know, this is the opportunities you want if you're Syracuse, to have the ball. A lot of that tic-tac-toe action. It was a night where possessions weren't plentiful. But getting back to this, Cotter, the reality is Syracuse is still a team in May that no one is really going to want to play, because when you turn on the tape, when they're at their best, they're really good. But the inconsistency of their season, and now dropping 3 straight, they're more than likely to be on the road, and they're going to make the path to championship weekend so hard on themselves. Like, they are going to have a doozy of a path. They're not going to be gifted anything.
No, and it's going to start against the Notre Dame team Friday in Charlotte, who's going to be a little ornery based on what happened the last time those two teams
And
met.
if they won this game, you probably have more of a favorable matchup in the ACCs, because, I mean, the reality is Notre Dame is the 2-time defending champ. And they've been winning that conference. But also, if you won tonight, you positioned yourself for a home game in the first round. I think that's gone now. I think you're going to be on the road, unless you go on a run in the ACC tournament. You know, if you win back-to-back games, you can potentially still host. But if you win one and you lose one, tonight puts you on the road, I think.
English shoots, and he scores.
There he is. Sam English, he just gets the defense to bite on a fake right there. That was a really subtle play. Right here, they're thinking pass. Right there, you see the defense just shifts to Michael Leal. That subtle little body language and stick fake got the whole defense to shift.
Also had Suchuk stuck on defense. I don't think Coach Bresci's going to be very happy with the way the final minute and a half, 2 minutes of this game is played out. Had the big advantage. Allowed Syracuse to score, I believe, 3 in a row now. And now they have possession. So it is a far cry from being competitive still, but at the same time, if you're Coach Bresci, sure the sloppy play to end this game is not sitting well with him. And here comes English again. Will they get another quick one? Yes! You see? Owen Hiltz. This game isn't over.
No, this is getting a little crazy. All the fans, for a good chunk of them, had enough when they were down by 6.
I mean, crazy things happen in sports. We don't have to tell you.
There's English again. Part of this play, I've always said,
Three goals in 41 seconds, Clark.
I've always said the face-off in the first quarter and the face-off in the fourth quarter, regardless of runs. And I think this is a smart timeout by Joe Bresci. You're not going to take it to the bus and fly home with it. Regardless of all the runs Brady Wambach went on today and dominated for a good portion of the game, throw those out the window. Like Dom Petramala has a short memory in terms of his shooting, Johnny Mullen has a short memory in terms of his face-off wins or losses. The compete level of this guy is different, and so much rests on his shoulders right now. Can you score 2 goals in 37 seconds? Of course you can. You're gonna have to win both face-offs.
We talk about the night for Dom Petramala. How about the night for Sam English? 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 GBs, 3 caused turnovers.
Here
Look at this run.
Yeah, the late goals. You thought, oh, it's just cleaning up here.
Here's the man-up goal.
Time to go, but then it's back-to-back. Spallina feeds to English and then Elijah Brown. And then English gets the place in the last 2 minutes.
Yes. No quit in any of these orange. And now the fans who have stayed are on their feet, believing if they can get one more Johnny Mullen draw here, they've got a chance.
He's 110 tonight. Wambach's 117. That doesn't matter with 37 seconds left.
He wins another one. Inside, they score! Finn Thompson draws the orange to within 1.
Connor, this is crazy. 2 minutes ago, there was no way that I saw this happening. You didn't, the fans didn't. Thousands left. But Syracuse and every player wearing orange, they kept plugging away. It was the man-up goals. It was the Spallina passes.
3 goals in 17 seconds.
And that last one happened in 5 seconds.
They're going to review a crease violation here by Thompson. So let's take a replay here.
He's good, it looks like, from that angle. Does he fall in the goal mouth? His stick in his right hand might have fallen in the goal mouth.
That is very close. Remember, the goal mouth is the semicircle inside the outer circle.
He's clean there. He doesn't step on the crease line.
He cannot land inside that semicircle.
Did he get touched by the defender at all?
He's definitely inside that semicircle. That's the goal mouth. That is completely off limits unless you are pushed into that goal mouth.
It didn't look like he was pushed at all.
No.
I mean, he spins. And that right hand is on the goal mouth line as well.
Yeah, I know, it's like it's
not just the stick.
Fans who are still here are going to lose their minds if they overturn this goal.
After official review, the player was in the goal mouth. There's no goal.
And now it goes the other direction. Hate the rule, don't hate the call.
Yeah.
You can hate the rule, don't hate the call. It's the right call. His right hand and the sticker in the goal mouth. I've never been a fan of the goal mouth. I like the old school rules where if the ball crosses the line before you fall in the crease, who cares?
Right.
And I know it's a safety issue with goalies, but honestly, you look at pro lacrosse, you look at college lacrosse back in the day, the beautiful creative goals by launching push the sport forward.
And nobody did it better than Gary Gate with Air Gate back in his day here on this very field.
Gary Gate, the Powells, Mike Watson, Doug Knight, Look, my brother Brian played at Johns Hopkins from 97 to 2000. 4-year goalie there. No one had more goals against him flying through the crease from the opposition with the Powells, Doug Knight, and Mike Watson. And if you ask him, should there be a goal mouth? He says, no way. Let him fly.
Right.
I don't really recall goalies getting hurt because of it. I like the PLL rule, right? Like if the ball crosses the line, who cares if you land in the crease after the ball crosses the line? Because you look at that play right there, he scores, he tiptoes around and he scores.
It's almost like slow motion falling into the goal mouth.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. He did the work. He kept his toes.
Yeah, that's right on the line.
His right hand on the line costs him there. So like I said, it's the right call. Don't be mad at the officials. Be mad at the rule.
First matter of business for North Carolina is clearing it. And Salucci out of bounds. Does Syracuse have enough time? They've got 19 seconds to score 2 goals. They've got to go very quickly.
You can't go back with it. You can't go back with it. This ball has to go up and up.
Hoddle's gonna have to let it fly.
No, it's too much time.
Roa can't handle the pass.
Waddle had to go there. He had to just
gonna be
go
it.
straight.
And a sigh of relief breathed out by Coach Bresci. Syracuse is going to have to live to fight another day in the ACC tournament.
Carolina packed a punch.